brothers and sisters, let us continue the book reading Reality at Dawn, written by Babuji Maharaj, chapter The Goal of Life. There are perhaps only a few among the masses who have ever given any serious consideration to the problem of life. Generally, they take a very narrow view of it. The only problem before them is to secure a decent living, well provided with the desired comforts. In other words, to them, the object of life is only to achieve the greatest possible comfort and prominence in the world. If they are able to achieve it, they think their life to be a success, otherwise not. They may, however, pass on as great men, philosophers, scientists, or politicians, and acquire worldwide fame and riches, but their problem of life still remains unsolved. It does not really end with death, for it is only a change of form. Our next life, whatever it may be, begins after death. Just as prior to our present life, we have had numerous other lives in different forms. Similarly, even after our death, we may have numerous other lives. The cycle of birth and death continues indefinitely. The problem before us is not to find out a solution of our present life, but for all lives that we may henceforth have. In the wider sense, it covers the entire existence of soul in various forms, gross or subtle, at different times till the time of Mahapralaya. Here, Babuji Maharaj is explaining us about the goal of life. He is saying that there are very few people who give serious consideration to the problem of life. Generally, the people take a very narrow view regarding the goal of life. For them, the only problem is to secure a decent living, well provided with the desired comforts. That means, for them, the object of life is only to achieve the greatest possible comfort and prominence in this world. If they could succeed in this, then they feel that they have achieved their goal. Otherwise, no. However, the people may pass on as great men, philosophers, scientists, or politicians, and may acquire worldwide fame and riches. But their problem of life still remains unsolved. That's what Babuji Maharaj is saying. Even though we achieve all these worldly things, worldly status, name, fame, everything, but the problem of our life still remains unsolved. And the problem of our life will not end with death, because death is only a change of form, that's it. And our next life, whatever it may be, it begins after death. Just like as it was there prior to our present life. We were having numerous other lives in different forms, and similarly, even after our death, we may have numerous other lives also. So, this cycle of birth and death, it continues indefinitely. Then the problem before us is not to find out a solution of our present life, but for all lives that we may henceforth have. That means the lives after our death also. we have to solve the problem of those lives also. So, in a wider perspective, Babuji Maharaj is saying that it covers the entire existence of soul in various forms, whether it is gross or subtle, and at different times till the time of Mahapralaya, that is final extinction. See, what we think about the problem of our life, it is very narrow. See the broader sense of this. Now I think we are very much clear about this. Then we have to fix the goal of our life, to solve our problem of life is our goal of life. Let us read further. There may be difference of opinion over the question of births and deaths among the followers of different creeds, but it is certain that mere theoretical knowledge of the scriptures will not solve the question. Practical experience in the spiritual field is necessary for the purpose. The question ends when one acquires Anubhava Shakti, intuitive capacity of the finest type, and can himself realize the true state of life hereafter. The mystery is, however, explained by the people in various ways, but almost all agree on the point: the object of life is to achieve eternal bliss after death. For this, they insist on a life of virtue, sacrifice, and devotion, which will bring to them the eternal joy of the paradise or salvation or peace. But that is not the end of the problem. It goes on much beyond. Now, in order to trace out the solution of the problem, we must look back to the point where from our existence has started. Our existence in the present grossest form is neither sudden nor accidental, but it is the result of a slow process of evolution. The existence of soul can be traced out as far back as to the time of creation, when the soul existed in its naked form as a separate entity. From that primary state of existence of the soul in its most subtle form, we marched on to grosser and grosser forms of existence. These may be expressed as coverings round the soul. The earliest coverings were of the finest nature, and with them we existed in our homeland, the realm of God. The additions of more and more coverings of ego continued, and subsequently manas, psyche, chitta, consciousness, buddhi, intellect, and ahankara in cruder forms began to contribute to our grossness. In due course, sanskaras, impressions, began to be formed, which brought about their resultant effects. Virtue and vice made their appearances. Slowly, our existence assumed the densest form. The effect of sanskaras is the commencement of feelings of comforts, miseries, joys, and sorrows. Our likings for joy and comforts and our disliking for sorrows and miseries have created further complications. We generally find ourselves surrounded with pain and misery, and we think that deliverance from them is our main goal. This is a very narrow view of the problem. Here, Babuji Maharaj is saying that there may be difference of opinion regarding the births and death cycle among the followers of different creed or dharma. But it is certain that only the theoretical knowledge of the scriptures will not solve the question. What is needed then? a practical experience in the spiritual field is very much needed to solve the problem, or for this purpose of achieving the goal of life. The question of solving the problem of life will end when one acquires Anubhava Shakti, that is, intuitive capacity of the finest type, and if he realizes himself the true state of life from hereafter, then only this question ends. So, the mystery is explained by the people in various ways. However, almost all agree on the point the object of life is to achieve eternal bliss after death. That is, that state of Ananda after death. For this, what they insisted, the so-called gurus, they insisted on a life of virtue, sacrifice, and devotion. By doing all these things, they were assured to get the eternal joy of the paradise, or salvation, or peace. But Babuji Maharaj is saying that it is not the end of the problem. It goes on much beyond this. So, in order to trace out the problem of our life, or to know the solution for it, we should look back to the point where from our existence has started. Where from we came, we have to go back to that origin. Our existence in the present grossest form is neither sudden nor accidental, isn't it? It is the result of a slow process of evolution. It is not just 40 years or 50 years back it happened and all of a sudden we existed on this earth. It is not like that, because we took innumerable janmas, births, before taking this human form. So, the existence of soul can be traced out as far back as to the time of creation, when the soul existed in its naked form as a separate entity, when it was in its purest form. From that primary state of existence of the soul, in its most pure and subtle form, we traveled a lot on to these grosser and grosser forms of existence. So, these may be expressed as coverings around the soul. Why it has been told as the coverings around soul? Because the earliest state or coverings were of a finest nature, were so pure, and with them we existed in our homeland, that is the realm of God. Just let's imagine what was our condition then. It was so pure, so pure. And above that, the additions of more and more coverings of ego continued. What happened subsequently? Our manas, psyche, chitta, consciousness, buddhi, intellect, and ahankara, ego, in cruder forms began to contribute to our grossness. In due course, what happened? The impressions, sanskaras, began to form, which brought about their resultant effects also. That resultant effect, we are seeing it. We are experiencing it now. So, by that, what happened? Virtue and vice made their appearance. That is good and bad. Slowly, our existence, it started assuming the densest form. And the effect of those sanskaras or impressions is the commencement of feelings. Because of those sanskaras and impressions, the feelings of comfort, misery, joy, and sorrow started within us. We started feeling for that. Yeah, this is very much comfortable. Oh no, this is miserable. So I can enjoy this. This is very good. No, I can't do this. It's really painful to me. These kind of feelings commenced. And then afterwards, what happened? Our likings for joy and comfort and our disliking for sorrows and miseries. All these things have created further complications, and we were entangled in this bondage. For that, we started thinking about these entanglements which we ourselves made and tied ourselves with all these things. So then we decided to overcome this pain, miseries, difficulties, problems, everything, because we want to enjoy only the happiness, the blissful state. So then we started searching the ways and means to come out of those problems. And then we fixed that as our main goal. Babaji Maharaj is saying that this is a very narrow view of the problem. The basic problem is somewhere else. We have to treat there. We have to treat that point. Instead of that, just we are treating it, or we want to treat it externally. That's it. Further, what Babaji Maharaj is saying, the aims and objects of life conceived in terms of worldly ends are almost meaningless. We forgot that pains and miseries are only the symptoms of a disease, but the disease lies elsewhere. To practice devotion to please God in order to secure worldly comforts or gains is but a mockery. The problem before us is not mere deliverance from pain and misery, but freedom from bondage, which is the ultimate cause of pain and misery. Freedom from bondage is liberation. It is different from the salvation, which is not the end of the process of rebirth. Salvation is only a temporary pause in the rotation. It is the suspension of the process of birth and death only for a certain fixed period, after which we again assume the material form. The endless circles of rebirth end only when we have secured liberation. It is the end of our pains and miseries. Anything short of liberation cannot be taken as the goal of life, although there remains still a lot beyond it. We find but a few persons who have even liberation as the final goal of their life, which represents the lowest ring in the spiritual flight. The problem of life remains totally unsolved if we are below this level. Here, Babuji Maharaj is giving us the clarity regarding fixing the goal of our life. The aims and objects of life conceived in terms of worldly ends are almost meaningless. That's what Babuji Maharaj is saying. And we forget that pains and miseries are only the symptoms of the disease, but the disease lies elsewhere. See, for example, if a person is suffering from fever, so his body temperature increases and he will get some other symptoms which are related to the fever. See, these are just symptoms that are exhibited by our body externally. But the problem, actual problem, lies within, and the cause for it may be different. It may be due to viral infection or bacterial infection or some other reason. That is the root cause for this fever. And because of that root cause, the body is suffering from the fever or any disease. So now we have to analyze that root cause and we have to treat for that. Then only all these symptoms will slowly vanish, and again the body regains its original condition. Similarly, the root cause for all these pains, miseries, everything is the bondages. That is the ultimate cause. If we free ourselves from this bondage, then the problem of our life is solved. So, freedom from bondage is liberation, and it is different from salvation or moksha. Liberation is mukti. Babuji Maharaj is saying that salvation is different. Why? Because the end of the process of rebirth in salvation is temporary. It is a temporary pause. And again one has to come back to this earth by taking another birth. But the gap or the duration between each birth will be little more. So it is a temporary pause in the rotation. And it is the suspension of the process of birth and death only for certain fixed period, that too. After that, again one has to take his material form in this world. So this endless circle of rebirth, it will end only when one has secured liberation. That is mukti. So, mukti is the end of our pains and miseries. If you secure liberation, then it is the end of our pains and miseries. And Babuji Maharaj is saying that anything short of liberation cannot be taken as the goal of life. So it is the minimum baseline to fix the goal of our life. But few people, even they have fixed the final goal of their life as liberation. Babaji Maharaj is saying that it is in the lowest ring in this spiritual flight. That is, liberation represents the lowest ring in this spiritual flight. The problem of life, it remains totally unsolved if we are below this level. So, dear brethren, now we got the clarity regarding fixing of our goal. That is, minimum to minimum is to attain liberation. That should be our minimum goal. And beyond that, Babaji Maharaj is ready to take all of us. So let us do our sadhana in this direction to achieve the goal of our life. With this, I conclude today's satsang. Let us know more aspects in the forthcoming satsang. Till then, I take leave. Pranams. Namaste.